Hello everyone, welcome to game number 1 in our best of 3 series between PBHead and Blues. Let's see, well, both these players having a decent path here. PB falling down to the loser's bracket, lower bracket, whatever you want to call it. Blues maintaining his uppers, didn't have to fight through near so many matches to get to this point. Both of them have certainly earned it. Philothanik is still here doing commentary with us.
Yes.
I say combo tiles.
I see combo tiles too, and did PBHead just crush them?
Well, Blues has crushed
them.
Yeah, as a scavenger. It's just like, nah, let's just not have all this. This does give him quite a bit of iron at the start of the game, which iron at $40 immediately. Quite nice for him, just a nice little boost to his economy. He's actually getting pretty close to upgrading. Only needs to wait for a couple carbon shipments, and he's going to be all set.
Yeah, his found's pretty good. He has everything you would need nearby except for silicon, and it is a glass colony, although it immediately decided to spawn a office module.
Yep. Well, interesting little decision from our colony over there. We'll have to see what it continues to do later. Both players moving into silicon immediately this game. Excuse me, but Blues is going to have the longer shipments there. Going to make fuel a bit more of a difficulty. PB's just securing a whole bunch of primaries at this point, and it looks like Blues basically doing the same. No secondary production up and running just yet.
Other than
except for these steel mills. Pff, they don't count. It's fine. It's whatever.
Look, you need them to upgrade, so.
Exactly. 2 seconds until Black Market unlocks for Blues. He immediately grabs an EMP. PB has had Black Market access for a while, but wasn't using it. He's actually just going to choose to expand into some additional steel. He did have apparently one claim floating that he's going to be able to use for that. And let's see. PB's still a decent ways away from upgrading. Not going to be able to easily just wait this one out. But also not really feeling comfortable in getting aggressive against Blues. Most of Blues stuff just not making that much money.
Yeah, so one thing that's interesting about PBHead's claims, did he actually, was water price high when he claimed this high water tile? Because it's not like Blues is going to go all the way across the map for that high water when there's a lot of high water near Blues' vicinity.
HQ has been upgraded.
Yeah, I don't think water was all that high. It was probably entirely unnecessary for PB to claim this. He could have pretty easily thrown down a couple extra steel mills, maybe an iron mine and a steel mill, to try and make things a little bit easier for him. Not how it's going to pan out this time, though. And now he's just leaking iron. Steel becomes less and less valuable by the second. And Blues, he's up at HQ3.
Up at HQ3, moving into some glass. Going to take advantage of this ever-increasing glass price as we check in on the colony. It's still a Chinese colony with a little bit of America envy, moving into a second office module.
New land is available for auction.
Ooh, that's interesting. This is going to be hard for PB to make a decision about. He was moving into some power, potentially looking to make some money, but he doesn't have enough production to make it happen yet, so I imagine he's going to be quite pleased to see this high iron auction. That's a free tile for him, really. Great tile for 12,000 debt. I'd take that any day of the week.
I would too.
Also, his current iron coming back online now. I do wonder what Blues is going to do about this. He has a black market cooldown, but as discussed earlier, only real source of income is going to be that glass for the time being, and is actually just going to be gooning up his own power. This will let him be adrenaline boosting that out pretty easily. Could be a very strong move this game.
Blues in a slightly larger amount of debt than PBHead, 70,000 to 30,000. Largely because of this fuel cost, shipping the silicon all the way across the map, burning 1 fuel a second from all these freighters. And just in time of... Well, wait, was that a... That was a surplus. Never mind, that's not what you want to see. As your Blues...
Not what Blues wants to see at all. Not having too much of an impact on the power price with all these offices available. PB doing some shipping himself, of course, so not really contributing much, especially during the night, to the power price, but still not really what Blues wanted. He'd like to imagine. I imagine he would like to pay through a bit more of that debt. Farms coming down for PB. Well, nice little move for now.
Yep, finally making use of that huge stockpile of water.
It's just fine for me.
And
Blues could have taken the upgrade, but doesn't.
Shut them down, then take the upgrade.
Yeah, nice little move for Blues, just going in and shutting them down. PB could try and get another farm down. Anyway, he's actually going to choose to commit to a solar panel, trying to make sure his debt doesn't get too out of control. Seems reasonable. And that's a lot of steel selling going on, PB. What are you looking to do with that, I wonder? Maybe he was trying to push to an EMP, but he can't quite reach it yet. We'll just have to see what he decides long term.
Yeah, Blues moving into 2 farms himself will finally stop leaking food debt and start earning some positive income. Until PBHead does make enough to shut them down. Also,
yep. Not anytime soon. Also, manages to hit that glass for just a little bit of time, so Blues really doesn't have much going on all of a sudden. 20 seconds-ish until that glass turns back on, but until then, he's just a little stuck. He's got to be a little patient.
And he's 1 HQ ahead of PBHead, who still needs to come up with 17k worth of steel before he can upgrade, so Blues has a little bit of a cushion to be patient.
Certainly does. Slant drilling, interesting this game. PB, it looks like getting into an additional solar panel out on his aluminum. Decided that 300 was enough for him this game. Doesn't need any more for the time being. Interesting to move into power, as power is falling pretty rapidly. Now that all of this power is online for PB already, I don't know if this solar panel is going to get a whole lot done, but it didn't cost him a whole lot to transition into it, so I can't really fault him for it too much.
Blues also moving out of his aluminum, putting down 2 electrolysis reactors, which will be just enough to cover his shipping and make a little bit of cash on the side.
Yep, just barely positive there.
A robotics
Gonna be
HQ has
okay.
been
Oh,
upgraded.
PB managed to push to 4. He is still running behind where he would like to be, but not as bad as it could have been. Blues just not quite enough money to really keep that black market consistent. Also feeling like he needs to commit to some goon squads to protect his territory. Not sure how I feel about that up against EMPs as the primary tool for aggression, but it does work out okay. As PB, well, seems to have been deterred by it.
EMP primarily landing on the solar panels at night, but I imagine Blues was more interested in hitting as wide of a spread as possible.
Yeah, I think that was really the only concern. The solar panels, obviously they'll still be frozen once the day comes, as it is now. So it's still a decent freeze, just loses a little time in order to get the hit on those farms and reactors as soon as he could. I think still a very reasonable decision. Blue's still safely in the lead, HQ5 to HQ4, but PB certainly has a chance to stay in this one. Just needs a lot of steel. Maybe a little bit light on that for the time being.
Yeah, a lot of steel. PBHead is keeping check on his debt in this series, which is always good to see.
Yeah, certainly is. No need to have more people dying to debt today. We've seen plenty of that as is, and that's going to be a big deal. PB catches an EMP, gets to turn it right around on Blues, barely avoids the goon squad on the glass kiln, going to shut down all these reactors and this unprotected glass kiln for quite some time. That is a big, valuable hit for PB. Could be a key to turning this game around.
Yeah, it will give PB some breathing room to upgrade to HQ5. He needs 38k, has 32k cash, so he'll be able to upgrade momentarily whenever he wants to.
Yeah, and can feel pretty safe to do so. It's actually a very big deal that he was able to get this hit in and feel comfortable to upgrade without having to buy any stock. It's such a big difference if you feel like you need to buy 1 or 2 stock to protect against the majority before upgrading. And PB managing to do that, that really helps him stay in this game. Huge turnaround on that EMP Goon Squad hit.
Yeah, and with the spies really cheap, that's Blues just getting a little bit too greedy with his black market aggression.
Yeah, that's very true. Would have been easy for Blues to catch that. Oh, Adrenaline Boost finally hits the wind turbines.
Better late than never, and power is proving to be a lot stickier than you or I have anticipated. The colony has decided to split evenly 4 glass, 4 warehouses, 4 offices. Just putting some price pressure on both glass and power.
Yeah, it makes sense this game though. Even with PB going a little light on steel, we've seen a lot of reactors, and neither player committed to a truly insane amount of power to drive that price into the ground, so can't say I'm too surprised about it. EMP lands on those farms again. That's going to be a nice hit, and PB, well, he already knows about this hacker array. Gotta be absolutely certain he has a good idea what's going on by the time Blue starts playing around with it. PB's actually got a 20,000 cash lead at this point. Very nice.
20,000 cash lead, 40,000 cash lead, I guess, in the debt. This late at night, my vocabulary is not working as well as it should be. Blues EMPing PB head right back.
Yeah, Blue's trying to make sure that PB falls into that debt spiral that he is so vulnerable to. Reasonable decision this game, I would say. Gonna have to see if it works out. Adrenaline Boost is becoming available for PB. Could just dump that onto the solar panels and farms pretty easily if you'd like to, or maybe do something else with this black market. Regardless, it is time to be making a purchase. Have to see what he wants.
Goes for the
Alright, it's gonna
adrenaline
be
boost. We'll see
either
where
these panels
puts it,
and the steel.
Such a wonderful plot of
because
land.
Blues has 1 second left on his cooldown.
Ooh, that came up quickly. Must have been sitting on that EMP for quite some time.
Scavenger cooldown will do that to you, sometimes catch you off guard.
For business.
That said, EMPs are not easily available anymore. Blues has already driven that price up to 40k for himself. And while it's potentially worth hitting something if it gets adrenaline boosted, it's not pleasant to have to pay that much.
No, it isn't.
I mean, you make that kind of hit at this point, you're a little vulnerable to a majority, frankly.
Yeah, PB Head's maintaining his slight cash advantage, but due to his higher debt, he is a $1 cheaper in stock price. And the adrenaline boost
Yeah, and that could be a big deal.
from Blues.
It's unused. Oh, okay. From Blues, yeah, it's going to land on the wind turbines. PB's, I'm really upset about the fact that PB's adrenaline boost is sitting here unused. It's driving me close.
I assumed it was PB Heads until I clicked on it and it went over to Blues territory, and I was momentarily confused. But yes,
Yeah.
the longer this adrenaline boost sits here unused, the more it is a mistake.
Yeah, there was a great opportunity here, I think, to go ahead and hit the solar panels with this and just try and get your debt paid down a little bit, maybe be the one taking advantage in the food market, anything like that. Especially because PB needs to rotate out of his other solar panel and back into aluminum. Blues is going to end up getting all the cash from this $70 aluminum. PB, he started it on the buy, but he couldn't actually finish it out. He stops early, which is certainly a good thing, I think, but he's going to have to find some other way to try and finish up this game.
And PB
Kinda
Head
curious what path he's gonna want.
deciding that is a hacker array, transitioning one of his 4 solar panels into a hacker array. Unfortunately, if Blues is paying attention, this is probably an obvious hacker array that's decided to disguise itself as a steel mill.
The black
Yeah,
market
that does
is open
look
for
quite a
business.
bit like a hacker
The
array,
hacker
doesn't it?
array is finished. Time
So,
to change our
if Blues is
passwords.
paying attention, I would not be surprised to see a spy come down on that area just to check and make sure nothing super fishy is going on, and he'll discover that something fishy is going on.
Yep. Blue's trying to work off of an aluminum hack for the time being. PB only just now starting to get his aluminum back online. That should work out quite well for Blues. Meanwhile, PB going with a very simple iron hack, always a nice tool against a scavenger. Hologram auction complicates things. And I do want to point out the debt gulf just keeps getting wider, especially with this auction here. Almost 180,000 debt for PB, who has cooked the books once this game. Meanwhile, Blues at a very, very comfortable 38,000 debt. He's going to be quite happy about where that is this game.
This is an interesting point in the game because Offworld prices, it has gone long enough that Offworld prices are starting to creep up. Food, because it's so cheap, is a 38k profit launch, but Oxygen's not too bad at 29k either. So this is where both players need to decide, are they going to try and go for the long game, maybe put down a patent lab, pick up thinking machines, or are they and go for an Offworld, or are they going to try and end it sooner?
Yeah, and PB is the one who's given an indication that he might consider an off-world play first. He is moving into a patent lab now, as you were saying, thinking machines would be a decent pickup for that if you want the off-world. Nobody actually decided to go with a pleasure dome in this game, which it wouldn't have been that profitable with the robot and the scavenger, but maybe could have pulled in something certainly better than a lot of our on-world tiles at this point. And it is going to be thinking machines.
Thinking machines, and hopefully that adrenaline boost comes down right about now.
Yeah, I would not mind seeing that.
Just making sure that Blues can't get it, even if he had a patent lab that PBHead didn't notice. Blues instead is going to go straight into a off-world market.
Ooh. Well, I think he's actually going to be okay. PB has this big problem right. Okay, he did manage to get just high enough. Dynamite lands on the hacker array of PB's. That's okay. PB is back into a B level, a B bond rating, still with a huge amount of debt. Will have access to the black market, but he's running behind at this point. Really wanted to start network virusing this goon squad on Blues market immediately if he could manage it.
Right, if he can.
Oh, this is interesting.
No, Blues decides to go out of his off-world
He
market.
forced the cancel. Forced it. PB was threatening. He said, "You keep that market up, I'm gonna majority buy you." Blues has to back down.
Which actually might be a blessing in disguise for Blues because both network viruses and dynamites are extremely cheap. Blues has spent a lot of time hitting that repair button for the Offworld, especially now that PBHead gets thinking machines before Blues has even considered picking it up.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned that PB hasn't actually just reclaimed all of his money in this Blues stock at this point. If you're going to go for thinking machines like this, it would have been pretty straightforward for him to a little while ago. Go ahead and commit to the off-world market. Go ahead and drop it, get it down. Especially since Blues was going for his own. If you can create a situation when you have thinking machines, your opponent doesn't, even if he's a scavenger, as long as you can stay consistent with those black market attacks, yours are going to hurt more than his. Then it should prove worthwhile long term. 28,000 debt for a hacker array. Why? Well, it's,
I don't know.
gonna let him short iron, I guess.
Blues deciding that who cares about the 3k and 4.5k network viruses? I'm gonna go back into that hacker into the off-world anyway.
Yep. Getting that done. PB's still not starting his own, which I'm quite concerned about after picking up thinking machines. I do think it's likely the correct call this game. We'll just have to see how it goes. Seems like Blues is struggling to make some money for the time being. I feel it's worth pointing out. Just not a lot of cash coming in for him right now.
Yeah, that PBHead did pick up a dynamite, so just waiting on his black market cooldown for the network virus. Although Blues does have a goon. No, I'm sorry, I had that backwards. Blues
You're
is
fine.
the dynamite.
Network virus does land from PB onto the off-world as we expected. But as you say, Blues sitting on that dynamite, just waiting patiently for a target. PB sells more stock. What are you gonna do, PB? You got a lot of cash stored up here.
This indecision is hurting him a little bit. He decides to build something where that hacker array used to be.
It is an off-world market.
That is bold. And I don't like it.
No, not
It's too
like
bold.
this. So, the advantage of thinking machines does for anybody new to Offworld Trading Company is it protects tiles that are adjacent to your headquarters by giving them a 50% protection from the black market.
And a 50% reduced repair cost.
That too, when they get blown up by that dynamite. PB has moved his off-world market. That's good. He's moving into a pleasure dome out in that location instead. Didn't want his hacker array out there anymore, it would seem. And he's going to choose to utilize his thinking machine's protection rather than trying to benefit from small warehouse adjacency bonuses in a game with dynamite, which would have been my serious concern there. Blues gets the first launch off of the game and suddenly has a lot more cash on hand than he used to. 36k profits on those right now.
Yeah, the profits are pretty good. The network viruses are being traded between players, however, both regoon their off-worlds. So we will wait for the
regooning
7k or 4.5k dynamite to actually make its way into the game.
Neither of you is using your current hacker array. Just stop. You could have won a hacker array.
Sold.
Use your current one. Try to be nice. Whatever. PB does immediately buy a spy for that, by the way. Blues picks it up for 20, but PB spies it out instantly, just to make absolutely certain that Blues is continuing to do nothing with either of his hacker arrays.
I mean, you can see an argument where at least it's a hacker array on a tile away from your base. You could maybe transition the one at your base into a tile that actually makes money instead of sitting here doing nothing, but Blues isn't doing that either.
Yeah, it turns out that's not happening quite yet. PB's a little slow getting this launch started. He could have sold down some aluminum, try and sell down a little more glass to get up. There it is. Finally, he gets the cash together that he needed to begin the food launches. Now both players have Offworlds online. But Blues, he's had a pretty significant advantage in this thus far, and it has panned out where even though he's down one stock purchase, he is up about 40,000 in cash right now, and still with a large debt lead, despite bond rating being pretty similar from all that cooking the books PB's been up to.
Yeah, and if you're going to hold on to your adrenaline boost this long, now is the time to use it, PB. Just put it on the Offworld, make it launch at twice the speed, catch back up to Blues.
Yeah, adrenaline boost, always a little weaker, of course, on the Offworld than it is on other buildings. Doesn't get quite as much of a benefit as that was going a little nuts for a while in Offworld Trading Company, but certainly still a nice hit, especially combined with the Patent Lab.
There we go.
We do see that boost land.
What a payout. Prepare for pending market adjustments.
PBHead also
do not
in
have
a
enough food down.
optimization center, optimizing
Nice.
power, which has slowly crept back up. Blue's going for a second Offworld, which means he's going to have a hard time defending both of them.
Yeah, that pretty much guarantees that Blues isn't buying any more goon squads this game. I'm not sure how that race is going to go for him. PB could move into a second Offworld pretty easily as well if he'd like to. Not all that expensive for him to get done. I do wonder if that's going to be the route he takes, or if he tries to just go for the kill before things get too out of hand. I would love to see him actually pick up a dynamite soon, though.
A new claim is available for
The
option.
dynamite would be great at this point in time. It
claim
would
would
have
also
been
be
great a couple souls ago.
Congratulations.
PB gets that claim for 11,000 debt. That actually seems pretty darn worth it to me. Easily moving into an additional solar panel. That's fine. Players are going to need to be careful with their launches, by the way. Blues has still got some food going. Not where he wants to be, especially with this dust storm coming in. That's going to make food highly non-profitable. Alright, we've got some rearranging happening here. That's a little bit better.
Blues with the adrenaline boost, just daring PBHead to finally purchase a dynamite, which he does.
Yep. Goes ahead, knocks down the one that he has spied out, knows for sure that it is not defended. A little bit unfortunate for him. Blues obviously going ahead and using the adrenaline boost, centering it on the Offworld that is protected. Nice little decision. This is a nice move from Blues in some ways. Goes ahead, puts the Offworlds next to each other, has one defended, so PB can choose to either get a network virus and try and EMP these out to stop the adrenaline boost, or PB can just keep raining down the dynamite. Regardless, PB, pretty strong stock lead at this point. He's actually gotten rid of most of his debt because of the insane power prices late in the game, and down to 100,000 debt for him. Very, very nice place to be. 2 stock leads, just as low on the Offworlds, needs to be consistent with these black market attacks.
Make room for
Yes.
the profits. The black market is online.
Do it, PB, right now.
Another thing PBHead could be doing right now is he has a absolutely ridiculous 1,800 water stored up. He could transition one or maybe even both of these water pumps into solar panels.
Once again, boom goes the Offworld for Blues. Not too expensive to repair, but not really all that comfortable either. He has managed to keep carbon in check this game, though, so
Offworld shipment
still gonna be
launched.
alright.
Look at all the money.
I don't know who's gonna win this game.
Essentially, this Offworld is being a target dummy to keep these Blues' other Offworld online. Unfortunately for Blues, PBHead is finally going into a second Offworld,
Launch affirmative.
and given
What a
that
payout.
PBHead has thinking machines, Blues really doesn't want to attack either of these Offworlds, as that will just give PBHead the tools to attack Blues' Offworlds.
Yeah, there is this concern that this second Offworld, yeah, it has the hologram with it, but Blues is gonna see this very, very easily. It's coming up very late, and it's not going to be benefiting from that thinking machine's bonus, unfortunately. So there is now a target that Blues could choose to hit, but likely still doesn't want to give his opponent that network virus. He actually has bought up a dynamite with that current cooldown and just throws it straight at the optimization center. No interest in attacking these Offworlds yet, despite the spy that knows exactly what's going on. Now the virus is beginning.
All of the network viruses. Now, the one thing, PBHead's placement of his second Offworld does not benefit from thinking machines. So Blues does have a target to dynamite.
Yeah, and that is definitely going to be a concern when Blue's cooldown comes up in about 10 secons. Only 20k for that dynamite. Going to be an easy hit for Blues to make, especially because steel has gotten very, very pricey. Up at 142 already. I'm not sure I like this positioning or this decision from PB at all. Have to see how it works out.
Steel has gotten
Oh, that's a misclick.
wrong Offworld, Blues.
The optimization center
That's kind of a big deal. That is half a launch, which launches. Now that these Offworlds are online, on-world prices have recovered quite nicely because so many resources are being shipped away, but still, about 30k potentially on average per launch. So that's a good $15,000 you just handed your opponent for no reason.
Our methods continue to improve.
Big misclick from Blues
Offworld
there.
shipment launched. Look at all the money.
I'm just so excited. Such an interesting game. I've woken up.
Is online.
It is very interesting, and it looks like PBHead is still, well, now the correct Offworld has been blown up.
That got it. That got it done. Good job, Blues.
Second time's a charm. Unfortunately, Blues also going to lose one of his Offworlds. Blues has the slight advantage that his repair cost is 30k versus PBHead's repair cost is, for this non-thinking machines Offworld, is a much steeper, oh, what is that, 80k.
Yeah, that's very expensive. Once again, just PB even scrapped away from his steel at some point, and that seems to be costing him dearly right now. That said, PB still has a strong advantage in a lot of ways this game. He has some cash, just committed a bunch of it to repairing, but he has those 2 stock advantage still, and that could still make the difference. Optimizations, I haven't checked those out in a while. What do we got going on there?
That was a very expensive EMP by Blues.
It was, and PB, I would actually love to see him EMP Blues back with this next cooldown in 3 seconds, because it's still only 25k for him. Do it, PB. Come on. Yeah! Yeah! That's what I wanted to see. Oh, what a wonderful freeze.
Both our players are slugging it out with the black market like 2 boxers in the ring.
Our methods
PBHead maintaining a slight lead
optimization routines successful.
in both the effectiveness of his blows due to thinking machines and in cash and stock.
Optimizations are so similar this game. PB has a slight edge in them because Blues committed to some fuel, which I think was a pretty serious error, going ahead and getting that fuel optimization done in a game when oxygen is going to be so important, just so easy to make a ton of fuel if oxygen is a valuable thing to have. And PB, he's pulling into a pretty strong advantage off of it. Only one glass kiln, but it's doing pretty well for him as he has adjacency for it from his electrolysis reactors. And still lots of great water-based production for PB. Leaking some water, but doesn't need to worry about it when he's got 1,100 stockpiled away.
Yeah, PBHead's very quickly pulling into a unsurmountable lead over Blues. It's becoming increasingly hard to see how Blues can claw his way into a position to win, as the tools to attack PBHead are both where Blues are very high, 80 EMPs, 60k dynamites.
It's just not a great spot to be
Meanwhile, PBHead only cost him 40k for his EMP and 50k for the dynamite.
Well, PB is pushing there, only about 70k away, potentially, from finishing this one up. Steel still online for him. Maybe would have liked to see him scrap out of this iron mine and into a little more steel. Got 600 of that stored away. May as well push through the stockpile. And speaking of pushing through the stockpile, that is... Ooh. Blues is trying to make that happen, but that just gives the entire game to PB. Didn't expect the 1,100 water stockpile in game number 1. Excuse me. That voice. Oh, man. I'm just dying over here. Game number 1 goes to PB. What a way to end the game. Oh, that was brilliant.
Blues did have a game which was highlighted and clipped on the Discord server where he network virus and adrenaline boosted opponents' water-based resources to drive them into debt. Just in this case, like you said, not anticipating the huge stockpile of PBHead or just not keeping track of it.
Well, and you may as well give it a try, right? Blues was way behind. He had to try something.
Yes.
See if he could get it done. I love the attempt. I love how it just backfired magnificently. That was a wonderful way to end the game. Ah, man. What a game. I'm so happy that game happened. Thinking Machines pickup from PB really was the hero of the day, though, let's be honest. He actually sold less Offworld than Blues did. The optimization center moved from PB as well, just a little bit ahead into it. Impressive to keep his debt in check with those. Cook the books this game really also playing a big role in PB's win. 3 of those this time around. Ugh, that was a fun game.
Yeah, PBHead pulling himself out of that D debt with the Cook the Books and just his cash lead. Came back into the game, and then, well, this one was really long, 12 souls. Kind of hard to recount everything that went back and forth in this highly entertaining match.
There were a lot of patents.
There were a lot
key.
of patents. That is a key. All the patents but 3 on for PBHead.
Yep. PB doesn't get water engine, cold fusion, or financial instruments, but everything else goes his way. Made strong use of almost every single one of those this game. I mean, I think they all actually played some kind of role in his win. Carbon scrubbing maybe a little less so than the others, as PB, I do believe, had a decent amount of carbon income, but hey, carbon scrubbing can still get some work done for you. So I do not mind the pickup at all. He only had, I think, 1 carbon tile regardless, so still going to be a useful tool. Good use of all those patents, though, this game. Nice, good win for PB. That was fun.
That was fun.